I was rather entertained by the comment of Miss Flight Q8F, who um, who said the monetary value of a lie is inconsequential. The lie itself demonstrates a lack of honesty and integrity. Of course, she's talking about Rachel Reeves. These are the two main attributes I looked for when employing anyone. Absolutely. Honesty and integrity. And in the context of employment, of politics, or of the recent controversy surrounding Rachel Reeves, it's absolutely true. The value, the financial value of the lie is irrelevant. It could be a small thing, it could be a big thing. It doesn't matter. The damage lies in the existence of the deceit. Lies, after all, are not just words, but tests of character, markers of trustworthiness, and indicators of deeper failings. And the fundamental problem is this: if one is willing to lie in a CV about something minor, what else might the Chancellor misrepresent? In professional life, in business, and most certainly in politics, honesty and integrity are the two main attributes that underpin credibility. Or authenticity, maybe, is another way of looking at this, and with authenticity one can navigate error. But without these pillars of rectitude, without them, leadership becomes a house of cards, an impressive construction, but it's vulnerable to the slightest disturbance. And Rachel Reeves, the current Chancellor of the Exchequer, has been caught in a peculiar web of exaggeration, if not downright deception, regarding her professional background. And she claimed an extended tenure at the Bank of England, yet records suggest otherwise. She framed her role at the Halifax Bank of Scotland as that of an economist, yet evidence points to a more administrative function. These might seem trifling matters, a misplaced decimal in a CV, an embellished job title, but in the world of politics and high office, where scrutiny is relentless, they carry weight. And she looks deceptive. She looks like Pinocchio on a really bad day. And the issue is not merely the factual inaccuracy, but the erosion of trust. If Reeves cannot be relied upon to present her own credentials accurately, why should she be trusted with the fiscal credibility of the nation? And more importantly, what does this mean for Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister who appointed her? Could he actually sack her? Now, I think that I think that Starmer is now faced with a big problem, because a Chancellor who is sacked almost inevitably brings down the Prime Minister with her. But a Prime Minister who fails to sack an aberrant Chancellor looks weak themselves. The role of the Chancellor is not simply another cabinet position, it's an economic spine of any government. In the British system, the Prime Minister may be the face of the administration, but the Chancellor is the guardian of the purse, the architect of financial strategy, and crucially, the symbolic guarantor of economic competence. And sacking a Chancellor is a desperate move, akin to amputating a limb to prevent gangrene. In theory, it may allow the Prime Minister to survive, but history suggests otherwise. Macmillan's decision to sack Selwyn Lloyd and purge a third of his cabinet was an attempt to restore authority because of economic stagnation, and the opposite happened. It revealed panic and deepened instability. He survived another year before resigning, a diminished figure. Lawson's resignation under Thatcher in 1989, though technically voluntarily, was a clear rupture, and it marked the beginning of the end for Thatcher, whose authority steadily eroded from 89 through to 92, culminating in her downfall a year later. Was it 92 or 91? 90. 90, there we are. Johnson's forced departure of Sajid Javid was one thing. Rishi Sunak's resignation was quite another. So I think Johnson could probably have... I think Johnson is the exception. Johnson could probably have survived Sajid Javid's resignation, but he couldn't survive Rishi Sunak's. It set off this domino effect in 2022. As for Liz Truss is sacking a Kwasi Kwarteng, the man with the prodigious package, who was expected to stabilize, his sacking was expected to stabilize the market after the disastrous mini budget. Instead, it became the ultimate proof that she had no control over events. Her own resignation followed within a week. Michael Portillo and Anthony Selden, who had previously been the headmaster of Wellington, every time I bumped into me, he used to say to me, "Are you a member of staff?" And I had to correct him and say, no, I wasn't. But it always amused me. But Selden has written some excellent books about prime ministers. And he argues that Starmer will cling to Reeves, not because he necessarily wants to, but because he must. The removal of a chancellor has, with very rare exceptions, signalled the impending doom of the prime minister and possibly of the party. And Starmer, for all his reputation as a meticulous manager, now finds himself in an unenviable position. If the scrutiny around Reeves intensifies, if her financial credibility is further questioned, if she is found to have misrepresented anything else, Starmer will face immense pressure to act. But can he? If Starmer sacks Reeves, he risks confirming that her appointment in the first case was a mistake, and that he was tricked by her tittle-tattle. It undermines Labour's claim to economic credibility. It undermines his claim to good management, and it triggers a political crisis that might rapidly consume his own premiership. If he keeps Reeves, he must weather the storm, betting that the public and the media will move on. But as history suggests, when doubts over integrity and competence take root, they rarely dissipate quietly. And Reeves's fate is not just her own, therefore, it's Starmer's too. If the past is anything to go by, it will not be Reeves alone who pays the price. A lie in Parliament is rarely about its immediate material value. The real danger lies in what it reveals about character and leadership. And Rachel Reeves' embellished CV may seem minor, but in the high-stakes world of politics, where perception shapes reality, it is a harbinger of greater instability. And if history repeats itself, as it usually does, then Starmer's choice is not just about whether Reeves stays or goes, it's about whether he himself can survive this nonsense.